some live videos for you guys. We're going to talk about hip conditions today and a few of the questions I've gotten this week. I've noticed that, so we do, if you don't see it already on our channel, we do a bunch of what we call lower quarter conditions. Lower quarter is groin, low back, sciaticas, knees, calves, etc. And we get a ton of comments, but I'm trying to really solve this problem. If you guys can help me do this, that maybe these lives would be a good way to do it, is that I find that when people comment and we comment back, people don't comment back. I asked this to AI and I said, how come YouTube is not really good at helping people communicate together? Like Instagram has private messaging. Also, probably people notify that like someone's responded to them and there's a back and forth conversation. That's kind of what we want. So it's really hard to give you guys suggestions of other videos to watch as well as other things that you could be doing, and maybe some, like, we can't obviously give direct medical information because we don't know what's going on with you. But even if we could, most people don't actually see the comments that we give on the YouTube videos. So I'm hoping the lives may be a good way for you guys to ask questions. Again, generalities are always the best. You can ask theoreticals, you can ask mechanics. We're talking about lower extremity conditions today. I'm only going to pop on for about 5 minutes today because I do got to walk in and work with some people here. So if you guys have some pressing questions about, say, hip flexors or glutes, or sciaticas or low backs, I'd love to hear them. I'm going to start with one that we have, that I had someone ask me the other day. They had some pain onto the side of the glute area, kind of in the upper part of the glute, and they asked if that's the glute medius muscle creating the issue and what's the problem with it. And so I said that, yes, the area is the glute medius muscle, but what's wrong with it is debatable. And so they said, well, this injury's been going on for about 5 years. Do you think there's scar tissue in it? I said, well, possibly, yeah. But if this injury happened like 2 weeks ago, the answer is no, because you don't have enough time to create scar tissue. Scar tissue takes months, and actually it can take years to actually create more of a like a densification effect. So it does take some time to really create the issue. So everybody's got a little bit of variance going on with them, but I think that was an excellent question. I see a question here, can hip labral tears be resolved without surgery? Now, yes. There are variances, though. A lot of people will have really severe ones. I remember I met a person a few years back where they came into our office and they sat on the table, and when they got up, I wish I could demonstrate here, but it's hard to hold my phone and do it at the same time. She got up and she had to physically position her hip into a position where the pain went away and she could stand up straight. The way she described it was like it physically stuck and it was painful to do, and that's very classic of really large labral tears. In contrast, I know one person that they were told, let's see, they're about 35 now. I met them about 10 years ago. They were told when they were 23 or 22, they were a professional dancer. They were told that they would need a hip replacement by the time they were 30. And a surgeon told them this. And I'm not bashing surgeons or anything like that, but it's hard to predict somebody's future. And the reason why they were told this is because they had a labral tear. It was confirmed on imaging. They had an ultrasound. They also had an arthrogram with it. And so that person, to this day, I still talk to her, and she's able to squat. She does have limitations of range of motion still. There is zero hip pain whatsoever. She's able to run. She's able to jump. She does some ballet still. There's certain dance positions that her hip doesn't tolerate anymore because she is a 35-year-old ballerina, like basically adult. And if you know anything about working with ballerinas, is usually when they're into their 20s, that's kind of an old athlete for that scenario. So you wouldn't expect them to be able to do quite as much either. So yeah, they can get better, and we have multiple occurrences where people do get better with labral tears. And even I'd have to look back and see what the paper actually is, but there was a great paper that they did, I want to say about 5 to 10 years ago. It was on NHL players. So what they did is they took a bunch of NHL players, which is hockey in America, and they did not have any hip pain. And they wanted to see on imaging to confirm who has labral tears but does not have symptoms. That is the key point here. Nobody had symptoms in this study. And so they found out that 2/3 of them had confirmed MRI findings, arthrograms, I believe, because arthrograms are the major way to see it. I don't know if they did MRI or not, but either way, they saw it. And 2/3 had labral tears, evidence of it. And if I had to look back at the literature again, you guys can look up NHL labral tear asymptomatic hip or something like that, and you'll probably find it. If I recall correctly, I think they kind of discontinued the study because they had evidence of these quote unquote damaged players that nobody wanted to see it anymore. No one wanted to see that they had the imaging that confirmed anything because that may hurt their future. Now, again, I think it's important to understand that people with labral pathology don't have to have hip pain in the future, and that study shows that. And it's also important to realize that corrective exercises, let's just say, or strength training, or soft tissue work, or adjusting, or needling, these things don't make that labrum go back to what it was. And that's a big important part here because sometimes people link their symptoms to tissue deformity. So the symptoms don't always relate to the tissue deformity as we found in the NHL study. They had tissue deformity. It was different than what it was because they were active people. They did not have pain and they were performing at a very high level because they were professionals in hockey. So I don't know if that answers the question or not. I know it doesn't answer how to do it, but the short story is that everybody's different. Everybody has different variances of what's going on. Everybody has different strengths to their core, different strengths to the hip. They have different habits. They have different demands on their body, and so on. And so everybody is super different, and it is ridiculous to think that everybody has the same exact program they need to follow. There's general guidelines, like there's general things that we follow, but no one is exactly the same. And so one of the cornerstones to helping people with labral tears a lot of times is getting a good pelvic position with core stability and also getting glute max facilitation. And so I'm actually going to do a workshop pretty soon here for one of the local schools where we're going to talk about a condition called a sports hernia. They also have scenarios where they have problems with glute facilitation and ab wall facilitation. And so what I plan on doing is it's pretty common that happens like this. You'll get 50 people in a room and you'll show them something like a single leg deadlift without weight. We do an isometric and it usually gets a good glute max burn. But without fail, some of them won't feel anything there, and they'll feel a bunch of groin stuff and thigh stuff and back stuff and so on. Those are the people that we can use coaching and cueing or exercise modification specific to that person that will change how they feel. And so you can actually get those people a lot of times to feel their glutes start to burn if we customize the exercise and the cues that we use while coaching the exercise to them. So I plan on doing that workshop with them with some local schools just to teach rehabilitation because it's an art. The exercises help, like there's generalities with it, but there's an art form in customizing it to that person, and good trainers can do it, good physical therapists can do it, good sports chiropractors can do it, people who are experienced in that realm. If someone's experienced in soft tissue work and that's all they do, they probably won't be good at it, and vice versa. So everybody's a little bit different. So if you guys are looking for any help or you want to talk to us, you can always call us too, 714-502-4243. We're in Costa Mesa. We also have telehealth options as well. We're very good at coaching online. But what I really want to see if you guys are, I want to make sure see if we can get some comments going, not just on this video, but also with some of our YouTube videos. I will try to put some links and pin some links in this video about some of the questions that came up with the labrum. I think that's a really good question. But it's hard to communicate with you guys. I would really love to share good information like this. Hopefully you've learned something from it, but YouTube does not give us the means as creators to communicate to you. It's not Instagram. You can't direct message back. So let's see if we can get, I'll try to do some lives. I think that's the best I can do. And if you guys have any comments about how to maybe solve this problem for me or for us, just let me know. You can message on this video and I'll start looking back at them. All right, everybody, take care. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your questions, but that was a really good labrum question. I'll see you later.